Hi, welcome to the Richard and Judy Book Club in association with WHSmith, and our next book is terrific, absolutely terrific, and by one of my favourite writers and favourite people actually. She's Adriana Trigiani, and the book is called The Shoemaker's Wife. Adriana, we've had acquaintance with her through our previous book clubs. Her Big Stone Gap series is one of the warmest series of Italian-American experience novels that I've ever read, and she's come up with this one which I absolutely loved, and she's here with me now. I'm delighted to say.
You're number one
so
fan.
excited, and you're my number
You're
one.
number one fan.
You're my favorite, my fellow writers.
I love it as always, but I just love the way you continue to evoke this massive Italian-American family, which is in fact your own heritage, isn't it?
Yes.
And you can even in The Shoemaker's Wife, you still hark back to something that happened to one of your relatives, or at least a location that happened to them. Tell us about it.
Well, it's really the story of my grandparents' love story. And you know, we have a very sad story in our family, which became this fictionalized story, which my grandparents fell in love, and my grandfather had fought in World War I. They both emigrated from northern Italy, didn't know each other, and met in America. But I went back and I took the facts of their lives and created this timeline. And as I said to my researchers, I said, okay, guys, guys, it was mostly young women, but I said, we have the wars that we can't move. We have Enrico Caruso, whose death we cannot move. So we've got to really, if we can't move his death, so let's just build up all around with the facts that we had. My grandmother, baby daughter in that family, her baby sister died suddenly. And I thought these were the facts that were going to build. My grandfather was an orphan, and he was put in a convent with his brother, whom he was very close to. And his mother kind of disappeared. So I had to go back to Italy and solve the mystery of her. So you see, it started with that, and then the two of them meeting. They met in Hoboken, New Jersey, outside a factory. My grandmother heard an accent, and it was her accent, her Bergamasque accent from northern Italy.
Kind of almost a village accent.
I gotta meet him.
Yeah.
Who is he? And so they met and they fell for each other, but he was in his uniform to go off and fight in World War I, because that's how anyone became an American then. You signed up to go fight in the war. Right. He fought in France. He was hit with mustard gas. When he returned to the States, he got his citizenship, and he was told, you will not see your 40th birthday.
Because of the gas.
Because of the gas, and he died at 39. So this love story, my mother, to this day, my mother she weeps, she can't, the book, hard for her to look at, I mean, it's terrible. And I was so obsessed with it as a kid because I kept saying to my grandmother, go back, go home. But she got so ill coming over, it was never to be.
Which is what happens to Enza, your heroine
exactly.
in the book.
So it's true. So, you know, if something's true, forget it. It has such emotional weight. It's almost like the story unfolds for you in a sense. Not that it does, but you know what I mean.
They lead you along.
But what
leads you through.
What I love is about your books always, and about this one included, is the way you evoke the Italian childhood and the village, and it's all extremely beautiful but hard, you know, poverty-stricken and all the rest of it. And then the way they transfer Italy to New York, absolutely love, because Ciro, our young hero, who is, I suppose, your grandfather.
Yeah, my grandfather.
Who is abandoned by his mother and is brought up very happily, actually, in a convent in the Italian Alps, for various unpleasant reasons to do with the parish priest. You also do have an Italian parish priest
Yes, we do.
Yeah, well, I'll come to that in a minute.
So I had to write a bad one.
Yeah, you had to write a bad one, yeah.
Right.
And he, in the end, has to leave Italy, and he emigrates. He goes to America, and he goes to Little Italy, where he is apprenticed to a shoemaker. And Little Italy is, in a sense, just a loud but equally warm version of Italy, isn't it? Just the same.
But it's flashy. And you see this with the various, within the Italian-American community.
Yeah.
We have the Jersey Shore, which, by the way, is under our tent. We don't really want them under, but we got them. And then you have Puccini and Verdi and the great masters and the great writers, and so it's just like Italy itself, which can be crazy fun and perplexing and warm and inviting, and yet what are these people about? So that when you get to Little Italy, you really you see that the people are poor just like they were in Italy,
Yeah.
but they got the belt buckle and the shoes and the,
Yeah.
And
the
they have-
flashiness and the romance and
Yeah.
And they
The
have,
accessories.
they have a,
Yeah.
I suppose you'd call the E factor, the exuberance factor. I mean, I used to go to Italy quite a lot, and I used to assume that the Italians were the way they were because of the summer climate. I mean, who wouldn't be exuberant and happy in a place like that, and the landscape and all the rest of it, and the vineyards, etc. And then reading your books, introduced to by Judy here, I realised that, as you say, you simply transplanted all that exuberance 4,000 miles across the Atlantic and dropped it on New York and other parts of America. What is it, do you think then, if it's not to do with the climate and it's not to do with the landscape and the vineyards, what is it about the Italians that makes them such a bunch of pistols, you know, going off in all directions?
Or like the great, who was it? Orson Welles said when he went to cast in Italy, he said, I just have to throw a rock and you hit an actor. I mean, and in my family, they're all, and writing Enrico Caruso, I wrote my father. My father was built like him, he spoke like him, and I thought, they're all the same,
Daddy.
kind of.
Yeah.
Well,
Why do you think it is that?
Well, I think because Italy was conquered by, there's a little bit of Italian in everybody. And there's that feeling of the oppressed rising up. There's also this kind of, you know, gimlet eye about politics, that everybody's out to get you.
Yeah.
We love gambling. We love great food. We like the long leisurely dinner. We like a cozy home. And the family. It's always the family. And I think what drives everything from The Godfather to The Sopranos to literature to music is that sense of family and that cohesiveness. And even the mother that leaves her sons, those bonds are not loosed.
No.
They're strong as ever. And when the book brings it all full circle, it's really a testament about, there's plenty of single mothers in this book. We all worry, like, is that, or the widow, or the disenfranchised, but no matter how poor my people were, and they were poor, they had each other. And that was the whole story, and I think that's what people gravitate towards in Italy.
Yeah.
Is that table.
You also get a sense in reading your books and the parts set in America that really the Italian nation and the Italian immigrants, however you want to put it, are kind of hugely responsible for America being the way it is today.
We built it, we named it.
Now steady on.
It's on the coffee mug. We built it, we named it, we operate it, whatever, you know.
But you made it work.
They tell you.
You went there, you worked your asses off.
We did.
And you made it work.
That's right.
Yeah.
Every factory job. Now listen, it's true here too. Like, if you know, and you know, because you've read everything I've ever written, is the dignity of the working person.
Yeah.
We are the sum total of what we create and who we love. And that love and that work theme, that is so Italian. And then
the food.
Our
the
food,
food in your
unbelievable.
novels I just
Got that
love.
gnocchi. I mean, but also our weaknesses and our shortcomings, of which there are many. I mean, I married a man of Scottish American descent for a reason. I did not want to spend, well, I'm going to tell you what I told my grandmother, because why aren't you marrying an Italian? Marrying an Italian. I said, Gran, I don't want to spend every Saturday afternoon for the rest of my life pressing my husband's shirts so he can go out with his girlfriend on Saturday. Okay, that shut her up. She's like, all right, I get it. You know, okay.
And Scots
And
don't
we
do that.
love them, and we're so, you know, well, you
I
give an
think
Italian man spaghetti,
Yeah.
and he goes for 12 days straight without sleep. You give a Scottish man spaghetti, he's asleep on the couch where you can keep an eye on him. That's what I say.
Hey, in another,
Just my little poll.
in another life, I used to visit friends in just south of Rome, a place called Latina, and the husband he owned a chain of perfume shops. He was Italian. His wife was English, and I thought they had the sweetest and most locked together marriage.
Sure.
And then she went away for a weekend, and I went out for a meal with someone else, and there he was with his mistress, and I couldn't believe it. But it was so Italian, and
It's
he gave me a little
ingrained
wave.
in them.
Give me a wave. Hi. Of course, I'm not going to tell. It's
No,
it's
of
ingrained.
course.
You're quite right. It's ingrained.
You'd be mortified to tell, and you wouldn't. How do you think since the Etruscans nobody got caught? Nobody tells.
Well, look, The Shoemaker's Wife, what's not to like? It's just a fabulous read. All her books are. You know, it just doesn't come more highly recommended than that. As usual, in the back of the book, there's all the extra content. There's how to download our podcasts. There's the Q&A session that we do with all the writers in print. And of course, we now have the book club app This is great. You simply download it onto your smartphone. You take it into WHSmith. You just hold it over the book, say The Shoemaker's Wife, that you're thinking of buying, and we pop up on the screen and we tell you all about it. We give you a little stand-up verbal review. It's good fun. Anyway, enjoy The Shoemaker's Wife. Not that you need any injunction to do that, because you will.
Thank you, Adriana.
Thank you.